The following is a presentation of TFNN. Trade what you see with Larry Pesavento. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-873-7618. Now, Larry Pesavento.
Okay, looking good, Billy Ray, feeling good, Lewis. We're going to take a look at the German DAX and also the FTSE like we usually do, but pay a little bit of attention to the German DAX, folks, because it's a perfect example of what we look at here in these markets. You can see an absolute perfect ABCD pattern on the upside, and now it's starting one on the downside. I mean, it's just a perfect ABCD. So that's one of the major markets. So we'll see if that's going to, finish up as this chart says it is to the downside. Now, we've had a couple 100-point drop in the let's try to give it a little bit more than that. A 2,000-point drop here in the NASDAQ here. Is it 2,000 points? Yeah, I guess we did. We went from 11,000 down to 10,700, so it's a pretty big drop. What we're going to be watching here this morning is what's going on in the gold and silver markets, folks. This is we've broken out big time. I think we've hit some major resistance this morning. We're going to find out here today. I'll show you what I'm looking at. You can see what you think. We'll just have to look one day at a time. But here is the daily silver chart. Looking at the September silver, last night, yesterday, we hit the exact 1.618 expansion of that whole move at 323.45, I believe, and we dropped more than $1 an ounce already. So that's, it's swinging $5,000. So, it's not unusual, but we're seeing that same in the gold too. Well, there's a book out that someone sent me, and they wanted me to take a look at it. And, I don't read books unless they're technical books, so I did take a look at the books because the author is someone who I've looked at before and I kind of respected. It's Jim Rickards, and he wrote a book on the new case for gold. And the premise of the book basically is that gold has, been basically maligned since, the Bretton Woods Agreement back in 1944. And again, when Nixon took us off the gold standard in 1972. But the premise is that the U.S. dollar is going to be the thing that determines, what happens to gold. He was thinking that the U.S. dollar was going to weaken substantially. Well, we've seen that happen yesterday as the euro exploded above the 115 level. It's now trading at 116. So that is still going down. So somebody's saying that Mr. One of the Tiger guys saying he's a fraud. Well, I'll have to wait and see whether he is or not. I actually was on a program with him once. He's a very bright guy. Whether he's wrong or not, I don't know. But anyway, his whole premise is that the U.S. dollar is the problem that's going to happen. Let's just talk about the U.S. dollar here for a quick second, because since the folks here at TFNN are kicking in here some information, I'm trying to find that U.S. dollar. There it is right here. Hold on one second. Let's go back a few years. Way back in 2011. Yeah, the number, I'll show you that number we're looking at. Here is the U.S. dollar. If you remember back in 2011 on the left-hand side over there, Mr. Tom O'Brien coined the phrase King Dollar. And we were trading at roughly 73. And we went from 73 all the way up to 104. And from 104, we went back down to 2017 when we bottomed at 88. Then we went up and made a double top this year. At the roughly the beginning of the year, and now we're down near the old lows that we made at 94 and change. We're trading below 95 now, folks. The real key here, this is from my perspective, I mean, take it for what it's worth, is you've got to really pay attention to the number of 9467 in that U.S. dollar index. I know it's an exact number, but it should be within a few pips of that, because if it breaks below that 94.20 level. That's going to really tell us that this thing has got a lot of power to the downside, and we certainly could see that. Now, if this is correct and the U.S. dollar is weakening, and that could be lots of different reasons, but one of them could be the fact that they're printing so much money out there, and that's not a good thing. So I don't know or not. But anyway, watch that 94.60. We'll see what happens. This is basically, once this thing took off in the euro, let's just get the euro up here so we can take a look at it and see what's going on here. Shows it, I said March. Yeah, March was when we made that. We made 94.61 in March. Then we had the big run up. Then the pull back down again. This is what it does. But we've seen this happen in the gold market. If you remember what happened in gold, we dropped $200 and some an ounce down to $14.75, and now we're trading close to $1,900. We got up to $18.62, which was another 1.618 expansion. But these markets are going to go. I believe they're poised to go higher. Whether they do or not, I don't know, but I'm just watching them for trading turns. I'm basically, I'm long gold and I'm nervous, but I'm nervous no matter what I am, long or short. So anyway, these are just numbers, folks. I look at numbers. I don't do the fundamentals. I don't, the premises in this book here, half of I don't believe. And, one of the things I do believe that he mentions in the book is that there's only about 5% of the people out there are actually holding the gold, and the reason why is these ETFs and all this other stuff, the futures included, really don't have any gold backing. They're just, they're just saying paper gold. I mean, there's not backed by anything, and that we know that for a fact because there's so much out there that there's just not enough gold to do it. Then he talks about in the future, that gold will be, the method of valuation, but with cryptocurrencies and stuff out there that are coming, who knows? All I know is the dollar certainly doesn't have any backing either, Mr. Bill. We've known that for quite some time now, so we need to pay. We could be looking at hyperinflation here. That I don't know, but we haven't seen any of that yet. That's it. That's all. That's what you really want to, keep an eye on. The main thing today is two things. One is that 94.61 in the dollar index, and then also is the fact that the silver last night made that 23.45 level, and that's interesting. 3 weeks ago, my friend Byron wanted to buy a couple bags of silver, so I set him up with my friends over in California that I'd done business with for a long time. They didn't know Byron. They actually met him years ago, but they didn't remember it. But anyway, they wanted to buy it, so Byron called him up, and he said, I'd like to buy a couple bags of silver. And, they called me and said, is this guy good? And I said, yeah, he's good. And I said, so he said, all right. And so they gave him a price and everything, 2 bags. But Byron never sent any money. He never made a deposit or nothing. So yesterday, Byron called me and he said, what should I do? And I said, well, I'll tell you, if it's any distance or anything that what's happened in the past, I bet you if you call over there, they've got those bags waiting for you to pick up and pay for them. He said, but they're $7,000 more expensive. I said, don't make any difference. And I'll tell you what happened when we get back. 877-927-6648.
If you're not currently using the TAS Profile Scanner when looking at setting up your trading opportunities, then your arsenal is short a mighty weapon. The TAS Profile Scanner is a standalone piece of software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Headed by Steve Dahl, TAS understands that in today's technological world, the use of top-flight software applications and technical analysis expertise is essential to successful trading in today's market. You also gain access to the webinar that Steve Dahl and Tom O'Brien just hosted, The Best Way to Use the TAS Profile Scanner to Profit. This webinar archive is available for all subscribers immediately upon signing up. All new subscriptions also come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Start your subscription by visiting the front page of TFNN.com today, and you'll find the TAS Profile Scanner under the Services tab. Sign up today. Are you in the market for buying or selling real estate in the Bay Area, including the surrounding St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Clearwater markets? Tiger Real Estate LLC is a firm that has extensive experience in the Tampa Bay area. Whether you're looking to sell your current property for maximum value, or you're in the market for a second home or investment property, Tiger Realty has the experience across all areas of real estate in the Tampa Bay area to help buyers and sellers make the most informed decisions across all price levels. From the price you should be paying per square foot in certain up-and-coming areas to the type of cash flow investment properties are capable of creating, Tiger Real Estate can help you make the best decision when it comes to all areas of the market. Before you make one of the biggest decisions of your financial future, call Tiger Real Estate LLC today at 727-329-8322 or email us at tiger@tfnn.com. That's 727-329-8322. Call us today.
Many of our new listeners have heard about The Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive The Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on The Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
TFNN has launched our brand new website. You can still visit us at the same TFNN.com URL, but when you do, you'll see a new and improved homepage with a much simpler navigation, whether you're watching Tiger TV live in high definition or just accessing your newsletter subscriptions. We even have new pricing in 6 months and yearly options. Check out the new TFNN.com now and experience all the upgrades. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
Okay, folks. Anyway, I'll finish up the story here. He called Leroy and he said, I need to, buy this silver. And Leroy said, you already bought it. He said, I got these 2 bags here for you. He said, what do you want me to do? And he said, I never gave you any money. He says, what's that got to do with it? And he said, do you want the silver or not? He said, well, of course I do. He said, but it's $7,000 more than when I bought it. He said, yeah, that's called a profit. Anyway, I had to call Leroy and find out what was going on. And he said to me, he said, do you know how much money we've made off of you over the past years when you were over there in Beverly Hills? And I said, yeah, I know. He said, well, this was no big deal. And you said he was good for it, so he's good for it. So anyway, it turned out to be okay. Folks, let me give you 2 cents worth when I talk about market feedback and things that I look for. Let's take a look at the silver. I'm not involved in the silver market right now. I am in the gold market, but I need you to watch something. Whether this means anything or not, I don't really know. But this is silver over the past 24 hours. You'll notice that the high that it made up there was at 23.35. That was a 1.618 expansion. Now, last night on the 22nd, we went all the way from 23.25 all the way down to 21.75. We dropped $1.50. That's $7,500. We went up $7,500 to make that 1.618 expansion, and now we're facing a possibility of getting down here to $22 an ounce. And if we get below $22 an ounce, then we're going to have what I believe is going to be a pretty severe correction, probably $3-4. I don't know. It could be anything, but that's what I'm watching. It tells me that the market starts breaking more than it did before after making a 1.618 expansion. That's going to be, I think that's going to be, very, very important. We'll see whether that's going to be the case. Silver does take too much space, and it's also heavy. And I remember when those bags were 54 pounds, and I had those bags, and I had to go through the airport when I was with Eli Lilly, and I had this little what do they call those little racks that you carry around? What do they call those things? I can't even remember. Had 2 wheels on it. I can't even remember the darn thing. But anyway, I had 3 bags of silver. And that weighed 150 pounds, and I had to go through the putting it away into the airplane and stuff like that. And my father-in-law, he would always help me take the stuff. So we'll see. Okay, Mr. Z says the patterns work some of the time. That's for sure. Anyway, the problem is they got these ETFs now and some of this other stuff, and whether it means anything, I don't know. We'll see what's that. Yeah, the patterns work part of the time, Z. Part of the times they don't work, and that's actually the beauty of the thing, because if it worked all the time, there wouldn't be any market, and everybody would see the same thing. But frankly, that they don't, that's very, very good. So the fact that they don't work is a good thing. So remember that when you're doing these, because you're going to have losses and you're going to look like you have egg on your face half the time. So you have to learn to eat eggs. So it's very, very important. Okay. Anyway, let's move on here. Okay, someone asked me a question about the type of gold that I own. Well, I own a lot of different kind of stuff. I don't own the bullion yesterday, folks. I'll go into that, Jimmy D, in just a second. I don't own any pure bullion. All of my gold is in coin format, and it's almost all U.S. I do have some Mexican pesos. I still have some Cougarans from many, many years ago. And those are my walking away money if I ever have to walk away, or whatever it happens to be. All right, someone asked a question about the thing in the Nasdaq yesterday. If you remember, I was referring to this low in the Nasdaq early in the morning when it was trading at 10,900, and I said if we broke below that after 10:30 in the morning, that was not going to be a good sign. It would have very high probability of the market, going a lot lower if that was the case. And that is indeed what happened. And I can't find the darn chart that I had to show you how it happened, but I guess you already know that. So that's not a problem either. So we'll watch that. Someone's asking a question about the long-term on gold. Folks, I don't know long-term on gold, but just look at this. I did a video about this last night because I think it looks very, very interesting. Here's the gold where we were yesterday. Sometime, and I just want to bring it up and show you the number that we hit yesterday. You see that 1.618 number there at 1.618? That was 1866, folks, and the high was 1867. So it made a 1.618 expansion, just like the silver did. That's why you've got to be prepared here for a potential, sell-off. Look what happened on that 3-drive pattern between December and April. Look at that. We went from 1785, we dropped $120 over a period from April through June. That was a 382 retracement. That was the big buy there, the big ABCD at a 382. That's way back in early June. We were certainly, alerting you to that one because that's a beautiful ABCD. And, as Gartley said, buy ABCDs in bull markets and sell ABCDs in bear markets, and that's what that is. The ABCD structure on this, if you were to measure it, you went 1455 up to 1785, so you went $350. So you add $350 to 1665, and you're looking at too large on the old the gold. That'll be a new high at $2,000 an ounce. The old high was at $19.31 an ounce back in August of 2011. So that's what I'm paying attention to. Some of my experiences in the gold market, one of my most memorable was I was in Switzerland in 1988. Giving a talk about pattern recognition and Fibonacci, and I was a guest of the bank Loy Bank, and they took me to an Oomph House, which is a private club where they have dinner, and the house wine is Dom Perignon, and it was really great. They treated me like a king, and this was a luncheon. And we finished at about 3 o'clock, and they said, we'd like for you to come over to the bank, and we'll give you a little tour of the bank. So we go over to the bank, Loy. It's a very old bank, hundreds of years old. It's been absorbed by, I forget who bought it. I'm not even sure. But you got into an elevator, these bird cage elevators, and they took me down about 11 floors. And as you were going down in this bird cage, you would see these numbers on these cages, and you would see this gold stacked up just in these on these little dollies. I mean, it was just absolutely amazing, all the gold that was there. I mean, oh my God, I hate to think how much there was. And when we got down to the final floor, the 11th floor, it was just unbelievable. But there were 3 floors left. And I asked the guy, Heinrich, I said, how what's below here? He said, I'm the president of the bank. And he said, I don't even know. He said, they've never let me go down there. And I said, you got any rough ideas? He said, I don't even want to think about what it was. My guess is it was stuff probably from World War II, but who knows? But it was really incredible. I've never been to Fort Knox, inside of Fort Knox, but nobody else has either. But I've been past Fort Knox because I went down to Kentucky so many times for the Derby and things like that. But I don't know. We'll see. Okay. Anyway, I still think we're going to go higher in gold. The question is, if we break below $22 in the silver, we'll probably get a pretty good correction at probably 382. But a 382 just takes you back to 20, and we'll see. 877-927-6648.
Larry Pesavento watches the markets 24/7, and now is a great time to try out his daily trading service, Fibonacci 24/7. Larry publishes videos and charts for subscribers throughout the week when warranted, and every weekend he puts out a thorough report covering worldwide markets, futures, commodities, and currencies with Fibonacci retracement levels, possible trading setups and zones, and stops and targets for all recommendations included. Larry applies the principles he's developed over decades of trading while analyzing a variety of markets for subscribers. To see for yourself the types of videos, charts, and analysis that Larry provides for his subscribers, sign up for Fibonacci 24/7 today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under the newsletter tab. You'll also gain instant access to Larry's archived subscriber webinar from earlier this year. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Sign up today. If you're a trader in the market looking to find the path that leads to maximizing profits while decreasing risk, then now is a great time to try out Dave White's daily trading service, The Path of Least Resistance. Through the use of options and equity trades, Dave advises his subscribers on a daily basis of the current market conditions and what possible trade setups are on the horizon. The Path of Least Resistance is published every trading morning, often with updates intraday when initiating trades or closing out positions. Dave White has advised his clients of some outstanding winning options and equity trades in recent months, and now is a great time to try it out for yourself. New subscribers to the Path of Least Resistance receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the types of options and equity trades that are available by signing up for the Path of Least Resistance today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com and selecting the newsletter tab. Sign up today. TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, folks, what we're going to do here is to do the same thing we did yesterday, just for kicks and giggles. I posted the chart of the silver with the AI program over it. If you'll notice here, again, you're looking at this low potentially at 1030, and that means after 1030, if this thing is making new lows, it's just like what happened in the NASDAQ yesterday, that it has a very high probability of going to the downside. Folks, what this is, it's a time vibration. It has absolutely nothing to do with price. It all is related to time. So after 10:30, 11 o'clock, only half an hour, after 11, at 11 o'clock, if it's making new lows in the silver, especially below 2,200, that's going to be telling you $22 an ounce. It's telling you that silver has most probably topped at that 1.618 level at 23.35, and gold is most probably topped at the 1.6 level of 1866. So, and remember, these things can explode to the upside very easily, so you've got to use a little bit of common sense as you're doing this, but that's just neither here nor there. But I think these are important numbers to look at. No number to me is more important than that U.S. dollar index at 94.62. If it takes that out by just a little bit, and I mean just a little bit, like 10, maybe just a few pips here or there, and then turns and becomes strong, then the old trapola has been set, and it's going to have a reverse in the dollar, and it'll go up. But hey, that you're just you're dangling it, trying to kiss too many frogs to find a princess in that pond if you're doing that. So you've got to be really careful. I watch that because it's a key number. It's a 382 on the weekly, and the fact that the whole world will be looking at a collapse in the dollar, which they already are because we're below 96, which we highlighted last week, and we've already gone below that. So we'll see what's happening. The euro's got all the way up above 116. That's a pretty good thing, and that's the cleanest dirty shirt because the euro, they have more trouble in Europe than we do here. So that's it. Let's get the euro up. You'll be able to see where we are because we've gone above 16 this morning. I think we got to 16.20. We'll get up here and take a look at it. We'll be able to see it. Okay, Ruby is saying, I know all about this. Just a second. Ruby is saying about the derivation of my name. The actual name, Pesavento, means big wind. Pesa is big and vento is wind. It means big wind. And that's first. And if it's ever a name that fit me pretty well, I guess that's it. It could have been something else, I guess. But anyway, that is the derivation of our name. Our family comes from the Tuscany area of Italy. My father's came from the northern part up near Lake Como, and my mother was near just above, right above Florence in a little town called Jago. And so that's where the grandparents came from. They came over once and then went back to bring back the rest of the family. And my mother and father were both born in Italy, and my mother came over. She was she was very small. I think she was about 2. My father was probably 6. They actually came into Saratoga, New York, where my grandfather was a coal miner, but the coal miners were wearing out by that time, and so they had to move to Chicago. And they also, my grandfather was an expert maker of grappa, which is corn whiskey, and also wine, and he also made salami, and that's basically supported the family through the Depression, and also started the restaurant Louise's in 1934 near the depths of the Depression that we was in the family for 77 years. And anyway, that's neither here nor there. So that's the derivation of the thing. Let's move on here to a little bit section here. Hold on one second, boys and girls. Let me get at one other thing that I wanted to cover about this euro, because we've exceeded that once we went above the 1485, folks. Then I feel really silly on that because I'd sold that and it had 70 and 80 points in it twice, and when I didn't take it, end up taking a small loss in something that had a nice profit. But being long gold, you forget, some of the other stuff that's going on. So that's basically it. Let's talk about the wheat here because Mr. Z has a question to wheat. Now, I am looking at Christmas wheat and he's looking at Kansas City, but this is a really interesting one to look at, folks. This is the December wheat. You can see the big ABCD pattern down here at 485. We talked about that in the newsletter. We had a very nice rally. We rallied about 70 cents up to a 61% retracement. That made the 135 pattern. You can see the high of last week completed number 5. We backed off, folks, to guess what? The 382. We hit it twice in a row at 525, and then we started to rally, folks. This has a very bullish bias. This has got a chance to have legs, and the ABCD on this structure, if you go from 1480 up to 1455, you're talking about 75 cents. just under $4,000. It backs off to 25. You add 75 cents to that, and all you have to do to see what that measures to is you see the top of the page up there? That's $6 a bushel. That's a 1.618 expansion. It's an ABCD, so that's got a possibility of making, $6 a bushel, which equals the high that we made back in January. So your risk is below 5.25. So right now at this point, you've got a risk about 11 cents. You can be a farmer for $550, but if it's right, you're going to have about a 7-to-1 payoff there, so it's certainly worth it just by looking at that. So we'll see that. Mr. Z is telling us that the Kansas City wheat is distinctively different than the December wheat, and I'm sure you're right, Mr. Z. But Mr. Z, I do not follow Kansas City wheat. I don't follow Minneapolis wheat. I follow Chicago wheat. And you're not going to get me to change. So that's neither here nor there. If I want to know that, I pick up the telephone and I dial 612 to Minneapolis, Minnesota, and I talk to Mr. Rich Anderson, and he'll give me the skinny on Kansas City wheat. And if you like, Mr. Z, I will get Mr. Anderson on the line tomorrow to be our guest, and he will talk to us about that. If you would like that, we will do that as a special request for you, and that is no problem, and that's what we'll do for tomorrow. We will have Rich Anderson, talk to us about these grains, because we've had a pretty good run in some of these things, and I think we've got a chance because it looks like inflation could be coming back. Remember, these hogs went down to $48, and we thought they got all the way up to 53. Now they backed off to about 50 again, so they're still in the bottoming process. But we'll see whether that's going to be happening or not. Who knows? Someone asked me a question about the 3 bags of silver that I had. Those bags of silver were instrumental, because when I sold them, I got back. I sold my bags in January of 1980, because I'd had them since I'd had them for 15 years, because 65 is because I bought it all at face value, and there was $1,000 bags, and I sold them for 25 to 27,000. I sold them to A-Mark IV, and that was for the college fund for the kids, and that turned out to be okay. All right, we'll take a little break here. 877-927-6648.
The gold market has taken off topside in a large way in 2020. If you want to take advantage of this sector, now is the time to subscribe to my gold report. The gold report took profits in 4 of its equities in the gold portfolio in the first week of January for a combined profit of 99.2%, with 2 positions left in the portfolio that have a profit of 67.5% as of January 7th. The Gold Report is a comprehensive look at the metals sector as well as the markets that move gold, which is the currency and bond markets. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. Every Monday morning, I publish the Gold Report with coverage of gold, silver, bonds, the XAU, HUI, GDX, as well as more than 30 different mining equities. To see for yourself the types of profitable trades that are recommended within the Gold Report, sign up now by visiting TFNN.com. Don't miss out on the next great gold trade. Sign up today.
Will the S&P 500 continue to climb? For bold trades on U.S. large-cap stocks in either direction, trade SPXL, SPUU, or SPXS. Directions Daily S&P 500 Bull and Bear Leveraged ETFs. Direction leveraged ETFs. An investor should carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risks, charges, and expenses before investing. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a fund's prospectus and summary prospectus, call 866-476-7523 or visit directioninvestments.com. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
TFNN has launched our brand new website. You can still visit us at the same TFNN.com URL, but when you do, you'll see a new and improved homepage with a much simpler navigation, whether you're watching Tiger TV live in high definition or just accessing your newsletter subscriptions. We even have new pricing in 6 months and yearly options. Check out the new TFNN.com now and experience all the upgrades. TFNN.com, educating investors.
The Bull Bear Trading Hour with Tom and Tommy O'Brien. Next.
Okay, I've been asked to explain that 1.618 expansion in the silver market. If you'll give me 1 second, I'll approach this up so we can walk through this together. Whether this will help you or not, I don't know. But to me, it's important enough to take a look at it. We'll be able to see here that you'll notice that top up there that we made today, actually last night at 23.35. That was a 1.618 expansion of the move that started way back in 2019, where we went from 1975 down to 1175 and 1175 up to 23.35. That's also a 1.27 of the move from 2016 down to the ABCD down at 2020, and both of those numbers came in at the same time. So right after this show is over, folks, I'm going to be liquidating my gold because, by golly, this is something that should stop. But believe me, this thing is so powerful. Look at this week, folks. We've moved actually $3.50 in silver. You've got to give it a little bit of respect when you see that, because if we get above that 23.50 level, oh my goodness, this thing could really move on to bigger things. Now, whether it's related to the U.S. dollar or not, I really don't know, but we'll watch it as we go through looking at some of these other things to pay attention to. I'm going to be doing a little bit more futures here in these next few weeks, especially in wheat, corn, and beans, and might do a little bit in hogs. And I don't like to trade cattle that much, but we'll watch that. We've got to be watching that natural gas because I still think we've got another move down in that natural gas to get us a really good buying opportunity someplace below the 160 level. But if you belong to the 24/7, I'll certainly keep you updated, with that as we go through looking at some of these things here this morning. Now we are now 2 days past the new moon, so that should be enough being here on the 22nd of July, and we'll see what happens with this as we move through some of the other things that we're covering here this morning. I wanted to bring to your attention, you remember yesterday I was talking to you about this 4-hour chart in the S&P. This is the cash S&P. Now, the same thing happened. Now, the S&P, I'm going to do this just like I did yesterday, just to see what happens to these things, because they may or may not work. But, if they do, that's the main thing. So keep an eye on that silver that I posted down there, because if we start making new lows after 11 o'clock, that's in an hour and 15 minutes, that's going to be telling us that this silver market is most probably getting ready, to head lower. And that's the main thing to keep in mind of why we're doing this. And that's the whole secret, is not to give too much of the money away. You're not going to get the high tick very often, and but very few people do. That's the main thing, folks. This is what really has my interest, because of the fact that the dollar is so very, very important. Because if this dollar index starts getting below 94, you're going to be looking at really something serious. You remember the double top we went from 104 all the way down to 88. Just 2 points lower. That would take the euro up to about 118, believe it or not. And here that thing is, they got more problems over in Europe than we do here. So that's it. So, folks, don't ask me to talk about. Here we got somebody who's going to ask us a question from Michigan. John, are you there? Thanks for bailing me out, my friend.
Good morning. How are you today?
Very good, my friend. What can I do for you?
Hey, you were getting so excited about that silver when I was listening. For a minute there, you spouted out, "I'm getting rid of all my gold." And so
Yeah.
I said, "What?" I had to call you.
No.
What did you mean by that? Was that a slip of the tongue?
No, it was not a slip of the tongue, but when I see two numbers up there, I missed the 1.27. I didn't check on the weekly, but when I was watching the 1.618 on the daily, and that also came in on the gold at 1866, and so both of those hit. But when I saw that 1.27 there, I said, "Oh, this is going to be a pretty severe correction coming in the gold and silver." So I probably ought to, lighten up on the gold. But what I'll do is, gold had about a $25 break last night. I'll probably try to, lock it in, because I'm in below 1800, but I think it's got a chance to go a lot higher. But hey, John, I'm always nervous, so you don't have you don't have to worry about that. I mean, it's nervous in that I don't really. I mean, it doesn't really bother me when I go for my physical, which is twice a year. The doctor always laughs at me and he says, "I can't believe," he said, "you got the same blood pressure you had when you were 18, and doesn't these things that you do with the financial markets bother you?" And I said, "Nope, they don't. It's just money. I never pay attention to it. Other than that," I said, "I've been through a lot of different things, but it's never really bothered me," and it hasn't. So I see some people that, if they lose $50 or $100, it's almost time to slit their wrists. And, gosh, I never could understand that. But I hope that's what I mean. It's just a big number up there in the silver. And look how quick we got here. We've been up $3.50 this week in silver. And this is only Wednesday. Who knows where it's going to go?
I know. Yesterday on the Open, when I saw the New York Open, I just sold everything out at the up. So I'm flat right now. So I'm looking to get back in, but I want to see the smoke clear, or the dust settle, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate your chartology, man. I want to tell you. It's really.
Thank you. Well, you have a fan base of one. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that.
Well, I've been a fan of yours, Larry, for a long time. So you're the best.
Thank you so much.
So
thank you so much, Sean.
And I'll stay in good health, and God blesses you with many happy returns. So
do I send a check to the same address as the last time?
No checks, Larry.
Only cash.
Send a bag of silver.
All right, John. Hey, thanks for calling in. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you, Larry. You have a great rest of the day.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
You bet. Okay, it's nice when your relatives call in. He's my cousin from up in Michigan. No, not really, but we'll move on here to just keep an eye out here. Here's what I'm talking about here. Let's get back to this gold, because it's got its own mind. Gold is on my mind. Something like Willie Nelson. You'll notice here that we always thought that it would get to 1840. Well, we did get up to 1867. We've had a really nice run here, but look at this thing. It's not backed off very much, and I have to give it the benefit of the doubt. That's it. Now, Folks, some of the times when you get in some of these markets, they give you a lot more than they think they give you, and that's always a good thing. But you've got to have a place to say, okay, this is enough. I want to be able to listen to what John said yesterday on that big expansion. With the market up at $2.50 yesterday, it was a great place, to take some profits. That certainly happened. And silver has broken $7,500 down from the high. It's dropped a point, 1.5 ounces. So the main thing is that chart that I posted there on silver, and I'll post it again because it is as important as the one that we did yesterday in the NASDAQ. And sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. But anyway, we'll be right back. We'll pay a few bills. Oh my gosh, we're coming to the finish line. Shut the front door.
Back in the day, I joined Hotel California in 2006, and like many of you, was drawn in by, as well as,
whatever you think about, you bring about. Whatever you focus on grows.
You see, I believe that everything in life happens for us, not to us. And Tom ignited the fire within me to want to learn how to master the markets. So how did I go from knowing nothing about technical analysis to becoming the #1 market timer for the S&P 500 in 2018 and the #2 market timer in 2019? Simply put, I hired coaches with a proven track record, which led me to a whole new set of tools that I created to interpret the message of buyers and sellers. I would love the opportunity to teach you this award-winning set of tools and help you improve your market timing. You can test drive my newsletter service, Mastering Probabilities, for the next 30 days with no risk to you. Plus, you'll gain access to archive workshops that'll take you step by step through my system. Sign up today by going to the homepage of TFNN.com and selecting Mastering Probability in the newsletter tab. Bam!
If you haven't checked out the newsletters page of TFNN.com, what are you waiting for? All of the TFNN newsletters are informative, up-to-date, affordable, and a must-have for every trader looking to gain a competitive informational edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets to offer you the very latest in market news. Plus, new subscribers get to test drive our newsletters risk-free for 30 days. From all aspects of the markets, including stocks, bonds, metals, commodities, and tech, there's a newsletter to fit your needs exclusively from TFNN. Stay informed each day you trade and get that competitive edge that will help you stay ahead of the game. Visit our newsletters page by going to TFNN.com and click the newsletters button near the top of the page. TFNN.com, educating investors.
With markets trading with extreme volatility and peaks and troughs everywhere, regardless of what you're looking at in the markets, this is a great time to see the type of analysis Basil Chapman delivers for his subscribers every market day with the Opening Call newsletter. Basil has been analyzing markets, providing his take for subscribers to his trading services since 1984. Every morning, Basil publishes an update for his subscribers, along with weekend and evening updates when warranted. The Opening Call provides traders a daily market overview with regard to the direction of the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, along with specific recommendations, including stops and targets. You also gain instant access to Basil's subscriber webinar archive from earlier this year, a dark cloud cover, and essential market analysis. Ride the Chapman wave today by signing up for the Opening Call newsletter on the front page of TFNN.com under the newsletter tab. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Sign up today.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, folks, I want to post this thing here just so we don't get too confusing here. Let's just post this thing for the silver just to give you a rough idea. This is similar to what happened in the NASDAQ. Now, if silver's making new lows after 11 o'clock, that is flat out bearish. That's the main thing that you want to pay attention to. Hold on, I think we've got another caller coming in here. We've got someone from Florida. Don, are you there?
I'm here, Larry. How are you?
I am good. What can I help you with?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say I've listened to you for quite a long time, and I've subscribed to some of your newsletters in the past. I'm not a current subscriber, but I've followed you for probably well over 20 years, and I've always felt the connection because I grew up in Tucson.
Oh, wow, that's cool. Do I have to send another $20 out today? Because I've already got stuck for 20.
I know. I heard you make a comment about your relative to last call, but our family house is probably not far from you. It's right on Sunrise and Craycroft. So,
well, I'm at Sunrise and Swan, so we're a mile away, so not very far. Arch lives right at the corner of Sunrise and Craycroft. Arch Crawford.
Yeah. I've listened to him and subscribed to him for many years too. But my question is how much relevance can you put on market moves during non-U.S. hours? I know European markets, if you're looking at silver and gold and commodities and stuff, they trade just as heavy as U.S. hours and Asian hours. But when you're following the miners, the GDX and things like that, and you just look at a spike up on the open and then then the down market the rest of the day, isn't it more important if they have a bigger reversal during the middle of the day?
It certainly is, my friend. It certainly is. And the problem is that they're only open for certain hours, and so it's more difficult. These other markets are trading 24/7, and it's easier to move the markets like that as opposed to, looking at the GDX. I don't trade the GDX or the XAU, but I do watch it. Hey, listen, thanks for calling in, my friend. And if I get an extra 20, I'll zip it off to you.
Thanks, Larry. Appreciate it. Appreciate you.
I really appreciate you calling in. Thank you very much.
All right.